Okay, so hello guys, this is Karan Bhargav, coordinator from IICC Council. I welcome all of you to again to this IICC Masterclass 3. And let me just recall this point again. So when we were just doing this Masterclass 2 with Mr. Parik Jain, so I told you that we are with a very heavy surprise into the IICC Masterclass 3. So the surprise is here, and I'm very excited to reveal that one very soon. But let me take the opportunity to welcome you guys again, and I would like to congratulate all of the students, that who have made it to round two of IICC, the coding championship. We had around 1 month of July. More than 1 lakh students participated from all over India, and I would like to congratulate all of you for showing that kind of enthusiasm, that kind of activeness, that kind of zeal to participate in making this competition India's biggest coding competition. So I would like to thank all the faculties. I would like to thank all the professors who are, actually motivated all the students to take participate into such kind of competition. And I'm hoping that that IISc definitely play a very important role in terms of when it comes to transformation of a student to a person. When they start participating into such a competition for to get industry exposure, to get test themselves, like where they're standing, where their skills are, and how much they need to improve. So now coming back of this IISc Masterclass 3. So all of you must are aware with with this thing that we have collaborated with GDSC India, the Google Developer Program, and we have two very elite personalities from GDSC program here with us. Uh, so one person who is very popular among the all the student, and I've heard a lot about this person. She's very high vibrant personality. So I would like to welcome Nikita Gandhi, Community Manager of Google Developer Program India. So welcome Nikita to the session. Now I'm just like adding her into the stream. So Nikita is here with us. So thank you Nikita for spending time, like for this IICC Masterclass 3, and and sharing your thoughts for with our IICC participants and also the members of GDG program. So Nikita, just let me know, like what are your thoughts? How are you feeling right now?
Hey, thank you so much, Karan, for initiating this partnership. And I'm really excited to be a part of this masterclass today. And looking forward to connecting with all the participants and sharing more about Flutter.
Great, great. So now we have the man of the hour. I'd like to welcome Mr. Karthik Padmanam. He's the program lead of like developer relations and he's one of the so I would like to welcome Mr. Karthik for to this stream of this IIT Masterclass 3. Welcome, Karthik.
Hi, it's great to be on the show.
Hi, Karan. Hi, Nikita. It's awesome to be there on the show. Thanks for having me.
Great, great, great. Okay, so now I'll not take much of your time as a student because all these eminent personalities are already there. So I would like to take this opportunity to welcome them again on the platform of IICC, on the platform of AICT IC competition. So yes, Nikita, the platform is yours. You may start the session with your student. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Karan. So, welcome everyone once again. Before I start speaking about Flutter, let's get introduced with each other and get to know more about you. So, in the chat section, can you share where are you joining from today? I know we have folks representing various parts of India. Let's see where does the majority stand today. Okay, I'm looking forward to seeing how many of you have joined from the northern part of India. Okay, I see Bala who's joined us from Chennai today. Delhi, Kolkata, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, Nagpur. Wow. So we have folks representing various parts of the country, and it's really nice to see how YouTube has got all of us together and speak more about our favorite topics. Oh, wow. I see some of you joining from other countries as well. Okay, that's super nice. Uh, how many of you know programming? How many of you are developers already? Okay, I see some of you are programmers, as I see in the chat section. And how many of you know Flutter? How many of you have used Flutter for your projects in the past? Okay, some of you are students, some of you are professional programmers, some of you are Android developers. Okay, okay, so I see we have a diverse audience joining us from various locations and have explored various technologies in the past. Some of you are confident about your programming skills, some of you are still exploring. So, all of you who've joined, I'll make sure I have something interesting for all of you who are joining us today. So, stay tuned as I tell you more about Flutter and how you can become a Flutter developer with some useful resources that I'll be sharing during the session. Okay, so give me a moment as I share my screen with all of you. Okay. Okay, so excited to tell you about how you can build beautiful apps for every platform. And when I say for every platform, I literally mean this. Um, this session is for individuals who want to start building apps for multiple platforms and would like to get started with a cross platform technology. Sorry, before I tell you more about Flutter, I forgot to tell you a little bit about my introduction with Flutter. So, I started using Flutter right when it was in beta stage, and I have been using Flutter for more than 3 years now. I write blogs on Medium in my free time and also join sessions like these where I can share my learnings for Flutter with my fellow developers. So, really interested about Flutter, and in my spare time, I also work with the Flutter team at Google by bringing in some programs like 30 Days of Flutter that are useful for someone who wants to learn Flutter or explore more about Flutter. Okay, so how many of you know what is Flutter? How many of you have already explored Flutter, and what does Flutter mean in your definition? Feel free to engage in the chat section. Okay, so some of you have just heard about it and you haven't used. So, for those who haven't heard much about Flutter, Flutter is a UI toolkit by Google that helps you build apps for multiple platforms, and you can literally write a single code base that can be run on multiple platforms, which includes iOS, Android, web, Windows, Mac operating system, Linux, and embedded. So you can literally write a single code base that runs on 7 different platforms. Isn't that interesting that you write a piece of code that can be run on multiple platforms? So you don't have to worry about which platform you're targeting, but focus more on what exactly you would like to innovate using the code. And then there are 5 foundational pillars for Flutter. Flutter is very fast. It runs in no time because it actually runs with a underlying operating system. So it actually combines the code with the underlying operating system, and that's why it's pretty fast. It's pretty, it's productive because it has features like hot reload where developers don't have to wait for the entire code to compile, but they can actually see the recent changes that they've made using features like hot reload. It's beautiful because it supports various fonts, colors, designs, animations, which makes it beautiful. It's open source, so anyone like us who wants to be a part of Flutter can contribute in various formats. I'll come to this later on how you can contribute to Flutter, but it's open for everyone who's interested in contributing. And it's portable. So, like I said, you can port your code to multiple platforms by writing single code base. So, as you see on my screen, this was an animation developed using Flutter. And do you see the transition? It's so fast. There are so many images which are loading in front of our eyes in no time, and this is all managed using Flutter. It's productive. So, I spoke about hot reload feature, and what hot reload actually does is when you write a line of code, in a particular function, if you're making some changes and you want to see those changes, what you can do is actually combine, and you can actually run that piece of code, and you can see that the changes are reflected directly, so you don't have to rerun the entire code base. So compilation time is very less because of hot reload feature. It's beautiful. You can actually design inline animations, outline animations. You can actually transition images from one point of the screen to another in no time, and that's what makes the apps look beautiful. So there is literally no compromises for your designers. Whatever creative ideas they have, it's easy to convert it into reality. It's open. So right from GitHub to Stack Overflow to the PubSpec repository, where there are a lot of libraries that developers have built by themselves, to the local communities around you, they all are open and you can contribute in various capacities to all these forums. And it's portable. Like I said, same code runs on multiple platforms. All right. So that was my quick definition about Flutter, and I hope you're already sold about learning Flutter, and you are already convinced on getting started as a Flutter developer. So Flutter is trusted by developers across the world, including multinational corporates and startups. So there are more than 2 lakh Flutter apps on the Play Store and App Store. And then there are companies like Toyota, eBay, Tencent, Grab, Tata New, Alibaba, Square, who are using Flutter for their production level applications. So even if Flutter was launched in 2018, in a stable version, there are so many enterprises who have adapted to Flutter for their production level applications. And Google is also using Flutter for so many of its apps like Google Pay, Stadia, Google Ads, Family Link. Some of these very popular applications that you use on a day to day basis is built using Flutter. And there is a thriving ecosystem of Flutter where there are developers across the world who are ready to contribute in different forums like GitHub packages. Then there are Medium blogs that are written by so many community developers themselves. There are more than 200 global meetup groups across the world. And then there are more than 150K followers on Twitter who are actively engaging on the Flutter posts that go out regularly. So, for you to get started, you may come from various backgrounds. What you need to do is install a IDE. It can be Android Studio or Xcode or VS Code. And you can actually integrate your Flutter code with so many third party APIs, and also with your Android or iOS APIs. So you may have some of your code written in native Android or iOS, and you can still combine your Flutter code in that. So integration is also possible. So if there is a particular piece of code you feel is easy to implement with Flutter, that's also possible with the API integration. And you can use the material design standards that Google has set for designing your applications to make your apps according to the world standard that are there. So yeah, Flutter is beautiful. It's easy to adapt and has a scope at a wider range. Now the question is, how do I get started? I told you so much about Flutter. And I'm sure you're already convinced about using Flutter. So the question is, how do I get started? So if you know the basics of programming and you have built native apps in the past, so somebody said that you are an Android developer, or someone of you said that you have already explored Flutter in the past. For you, what you need to do is explore a lot of widgets, a lot of third party integrations that can be managed with Flutter. But if you haven't written any code in the past and you are very new to programming, I would first suggest you to understand the basics of object oriented programming language. It could be using Dart, and then you can start exploring more about Flutter. All right. So the third step, once you have installed a favorite IDE like VS Code or Android Studio and have installed Flutter as well, and you have learned about object oriented programming languages and have explored about Dart, the third step for you is to know more about widgets. So everything in Flutter is widgets. If you are constructing a building, it has a lot of bricks. Similarly, in Flutter, everything that you see on your screen is a widget. If you see a text on your screen, it's a text widget. If you see an image on your screen, it's an image widget. If you see a button on your screen, that's also a widget. Now, these widgets come in various formats. Either they are stateful widgets, which means the state of the application changes with user interaction. For example, if you click on a button and a pop up appears on the screen, then it's a stateful widget. But if nothing changes with user interaction, for example, you're scrolling through your phone and nothing changes on your screen, then it's a stateless widget. Then there is accessibility, inherited widgets. Inherited widgets are nothing but if the property of the parent widget can be taken into child widget, it's an inherited widget. And then a few more things that I would encourage you to explore is theming, localization. Now, these are just high level topics. A lot of content on this is already available on the internet. What this session will help you is what are those things that you should explore on the internet to help you get started with Flutter or make you feel confident about your knowledge in Flutter. Here is an example of stateless widget, a text widget, hello world. I have just given the direction of the text from left to right. Some languages are written from right to left, like the Arabic, so you can actually explicitly mention that in Flutter. Now, the text on the screen does not change, and hence it's a stateless widget. But if you see here, if someone clicks on the increment button and the counter is changing, then it's a stateful widget. Localization. So if you want to make platform specific changes, for example, the way the screen changes in iPhones versus how it changes in Android phones is very, very different. And if you want to set those design standards as material for Android and Cupertino for iPhones, then you can use the localization feature in Flutter. And it would be encouraged to learn these so that you can actually target the users accordingly. Then there are inherited widgets where the base class allows those class that inherit from it to use some of its properties. Just like we inherit some qualities of our parents in us, if not 100%, it's called as an inherited widget where the parent qualities can be inherited by the child widget. Now, once you have explored these features, like you've explored some widgets, you've explored localization, try writing a basic application. So use some stateless widgets, customize those widgets, implement stateful widgets, and make some platform specific widgets, and use inheritance feature as well. So this will be your first assignment once you explore about Flutter. Take a screenshot of this screen in case you want to try this assignment after you have started exploring about Flutter. Well, I hope my speed is not that fast and you all are able to follow what all is being shared during this session. Okay. So moving on, we have animations. So try adding some animations to your Flutter app. It can be an animated widget, animated controller, hero widget, opacity, animated builder, curved animation, transform. So if you've used an e-commerce application, when you click on the product size enlarges. That's nothing but a hero widget in Flutter. You can add animations where a ball is dropping from the top of the screen to bottom, or you want to show just like this rocket is going from bottom to top. All of these transitions can be managed using Flutter, where you have to mention the start point and the end point and the direction in which you want the object to move. I have an interesting flowchart on how you choose the right animation in Flutter. I won't dive into the details today in interest of time, but again, if you want, feel free to take a screenshot, and once you're working on animations, you can actually go through this flowchart to see what kind of animation you need to choose while you are designing applications for Flutter. And another second homework for you with animations is there are 8 animations that you can try: animated controller container demo, page route builder demo, where you show transitions from one screen to another. And then there's tween demo, animated builder, tween sequence, fade transition, etc. Now you've designed beautiful UI for your Flutter application. You have used some interesting widgets, you've done localization, you've added some animation. Now comes the backend, that is storage. So storage can be managed using shared preference, which is also a widget, file storage, and SQLite. All of these widgets are available in the internet, and there are steps on how you can integrate this in your Flutter application. All you need to do is share for shared preference with Flutter, and you will get a detailed design doc on how you can integrate it in your Flutter application. Try using a lot of external libraries like HTTP, Getit, SQFlite, Block Pattern, Do, Cache Network, Font Awesome, which will help you understand how you can integrate third party applications in your app. So HTTP is where you want to uh, create a connection with your server. You can actually set the architecture of your apps using block pattern. You can set awesome fonts for your application, which are available on the internet using font awesome Flutter library, so on and so forth. And behavior components. So you may have in your day-to-day applications, you get a lot of push notifications. There are some local notifications that are sent on your application. Sometimes the apps ask you for permission. Sometimes you need to set a download manager where user can download some files on their local machines. Some apps like games applications especially, they have media playback. Some applications have sharing involved. So you can do all of that using behavior component widgets. Maybe you can explore this step 10 after you have tried all that I have mentioned in the past in your Flutter application. This is the very intermediate step for you as a Flutter developer once you have explored a lot about Flutter widgets, localizations, database management, and animations. Then the 11th step is state management. As the size of your app starts growing, you need to set an architecture on how the data would flow from one screen to another, and how you're going to capture the data. So these are state management practices. You can choose either of those. It's good to explore all of these because your interviewer may ask you any of these in your interviews. And lastly, but not the least, this is one of my most favorite topics: integrating Firebase with Flutter. Firebase offers a lot of services, but these four are my favorite, where you can authenticate an user using Firebase. So you can actually do a Gmail authentication, Facebook authentication using Firebase auth feature. You can connect your application with database management service that is available on Firebase. You can store user data on Firebase servers, and you can allow in-app messaging using the Firebase messaging feature. So do try these features of Firebase with Flutter. Try to integrate your Flutter apps with these Firebase services. It would just not make your app complete, but it would make it scalable. So even if there are multiple users, like thousands and 10,000s and lakhs of users downloading your application, you need not worry with the scalable infrastructure that is set with Firebase. And as you learn, it's very important to continue sharing what you learn. Um, so if you want to learn more about Flutter, there are a lot of code labs that are available. There are a lot of YouTube videos available on Flutter's official channel as well as the Flutter community channel. There are a lot of Medium blogs that have been written by developer advocates at Google, and then there are YouTube videos that the developer advocates have created just for you. And the community is also actively contributing to these areas. So, if you want to learn, there are ample of resources available on the internet. Explore those. There's GitHub repositories as well, where amazing developers have written their code, and you can follow them for inspiration purposes. And to create a local essence for your learnings with Flutter, do join the Flutter meetup groups around you. We have 18 Flutter meetups in India. Do join one nearest to you to share your learnings, to meet with fellow Flutter developers as well. So there is an ample opportunity for you to explore with Flutter and look around, explore what's best for you, continue learning and sharing with the community. With that, you are now all set to build beautiful apps for every platform. I hope my session was useful for you to get started with Flutter, and you can build beautiful apps. You can build a beautiful UI using Flutter, integrated with backend services like Firebase. Thank you so much. If there are any questions, feel free to write it in the comments and I'll try to answer some of those. But meanwhile, I also have Karthik here who is excited to share more about Google Developer Programs with all of you. Hi, Karthik.
Thank you, Nikita. Yeah, can you see my screen? Hi, everybody. It's a honor and privilege to be here. And I want to take this opportunity to thank AICT folks, the Coding Ninja team, for giving us the opportunity to address in a very, very momentous and important occasion like this. So this has been a very important opportunity for us because this helps us work with people who are interested in coding and wanting to showcase the talent in a larger scale. So this is not an event which we are looking in isolation. This is something which we would like to continue to go ahead and continue to keep working with you all folks. So with that, so I want to thank you all for the opportunity. And I also want to thank you all and wish all of you folks the very best in making sure that this program, the Coding Ninjas program, becomes a big success. So I'm here going to basically spend a brief time about, take this opportunity to spend a brief time about the various Google Developer Group programs. Uh, we also want to make sure that we are able to share these programs in a much more collaborative way. So we want to work with organizations such as yours, AICTU, and make sure that we're able to reach out to as many students and as many developers as possible. So these programs are only as good as people use it. If you're not going to use this program, if you're not going to participate in these programs, this can just be there as content on the website. But if you're able to use it in a much more meaningful way, use these programs to interact, share, learn, grow, it becomes very, very useful. And with that, keeping that in mind, I wanted to spend the next few minutes sharing some of these programs and highlights of how some of folks like you have benefited from these programs and what they have to say about this. So we've been developing the startup and the developer ecosystem in India for almost a decade now. So it's I've been out of this decade. I've been involved for the last almost close to 6 years. So it's been going on for quite some time now, from early 2012. So we've it started off in a small way with around 8-10 chapters. Now it's over the last 7-8 years, it's really rapidly grown to 66 chapters. We are present in 41 cities. So that means most of the top cities, most of the state capitals, right from Assam in the northeast to Rajkot in the west, to Srinagar, Dehradun in the up north in the hills, to Thiruvananthapuram down south. So I think, and plus a lot of places within the South India, Central India, West India, we have chapters. So what it essentially means is that this gives an opportunity for people to meet on various open source and Google technologies on a monthly basis. So we average around one meetup a month and share and learn a lot of technologies in a much more collaborative and fun way. And Google does support these folks from behind the scenes to make sure that this activity keeps going on and keeps flourishing and gets scales as it keeps moving ahead. Somewhere in 2018, we launched another program called the Developer Student Club. So we started with around, some of you who might be aware of the Google ambassadors, Google student ambassadors, the GSA program, which kind of morphed into the developer student clubs, which we launched in 2018. And we had around close to around 250, 270 chapters over the last 4-5 months, thanks to the stupendous effort from the team. We have been able to grow it to 500. And we're not going to stop at this, and we're working profusely to see how we can expand further. Because we know that India is a large country with a massive developer population, and we want to go beyond the 200 cities at this point in time, so that we want, wherever there are students who are involved in IT or tech and who have to have an exposure to learn, share, they should be able to find a developer student club in their colleges. We have 66 experts across various technology domains, right from Android, Flutter, web, machine learning, TensorFlow, cloud. And this is a population which keeps growing on. And so this is also a typical roadmap for people who are in colleges. After a few years, they want to become experts. They can continue to build expertise, start sharing and learning. And the most important thing about an expert is that the more he shares, the more expertise he builds. The more he listens to problems and helps people solve their problems, the better he gets at his craft. So the more and more you're able to reach out to people using social media, using blogs, using YouTube videos, you become an expert. This is a program, again, you can apply, and it's nominated by the peers, and the peers kind of shortlist you, and then somebody from Google eventually comes and kind of decides that he or she is the person to become an expert. Google for Startups is again one of the leading corporate accelerators. It's got a significant brand recall in India. It's one of the top brands as far as startup acceleration is concerned. Again, we've been associated with startup acceleration from 2015, which is that makes it almost 7 years since we have been in this business of startup acceleration. We have accelerated close to 116 startups. We have a mentor network of 200 plus, and we work with 6 partners like T-Hub, KSUM, Social Alpha, 91 Springboard, to name the few. And we also have a wide network of incubators and accelerators outside of these partners whom we work with, so that we're able to get this content, help mentorship, help startups accelerate or have access to this content. Women tech, building a diverse community is very key for us. We want to make sure that as many women are participating in our mainstream community engagements. So we have the Women Tech Makers initiative, where women safeguard and take care of the interest of making sure that all the meetups, all the workshops, anything we do, be it right from speaker panel, speaking opportunity, participation, is equitable and diverse enough. And so these ambassadors, again, are doing a stupendous job for us to make sure that we're able to get there. Over the years, our diversity ratio is continuously improving. We're very proud of the fact that we should probably very shortly make it equitable. And so that will be a big, significant achievement for us as a team. Finally, the Android Educators Program is something which we just recently launched a couple of years back. And very quickly, we have galloped it to have galloped and reached 640 institutes. We now have 190 Android educators who are regularly offering Android courses. Okay, so we have the Google Developer Student Club, and so in this we have amazing stories coming from various people, but this particular story really has taken us aback, right? So he worked profusely in learning Android. So he got himself certified as an certified Android engineer. But more than that, he also was able to share this knowledge and expertise with so many people in his college, and he really got them really up to speed and getting certified on Android. So Silmerson was one of our stalwarts. This is one of the many stories which we chose to showcase. But this is again, what I'm trying to say is that about community and engaging with community, it means uh, that you have to, by actually contributing in a selfless way, you end up gaining a lot. So here is a great example of how somebody is gained tremendously by doing community work with the developer student clubs. So moving on, we have Brijraj. Brijraj is a good friend of mine who's been running the Jalandhar community GDG chapter for quite some time. So he's done amazing work in building tech enterprises, entrepreneurship in the region. He's been associated with the program for 6-7 years, and he's done a lot of service for the local community, especially during the COVID time frame. So Brijraj is again another great story of how people are able to engage with community and build a very strong community in their local cities or towns. So Divya Krishna is somebody who's very, very tenacious and passionate about working for women causes. So during the International Women's Day recently concluded, she ran a massive program across the government schools in Chennai, where she and her volunteers engaged with these government schools, offered tech training to them, and gave them the confidence and the motivation and inspiration to make things equitable and things also being accessible. So these are some small examples of some of those great initiatives which the ambassadors are continuing to do at various parts of India. Google Developer Experts is another program which is deep in nature, but at the same time, we would want to make sure that we're able to scale the reach using the developer experts. So Santosh Yadav came from a very, very humble background, but he really worked very hard at honing his skills and developed a strong craft for tech. And from somebody who's come from such a humble background to the fact that he's able to achieve an influence, the impact and the influence which he's able to gather over the last few years has been significant. So through his YouTube channels, through social media, through blogs, through one-on-one mentorship, he's really able to influence a large spectrum of developer community out there. So this is something which really makes us feel proud about the accomplishments of Santosh Yadav. The Google for Startup programs, if you look at the pyramid, if you top down, at the bottom of the pyramid, it's communities. So we want to work with literally all early stage startups, and we believe that most of the early stage startups are typically started by tech entrepreneurs or techies who wanted to turn entrepreneurs, and they're very, very tech in their mindset, and eventually after some time probably they get a little more business savvy, but the tech doesn't go out from them. So we want to make sure that we are able to get our content, research work, all that is we are able to reach to these communities through the various startup community programs. Then we have a scaled partnership effort with Google for Startup Partners. We have, like I said, 6 partners, and we also work with a host of other accelerators and incubators to making sure that we, through them, we are able to offer cloud credits, content, mentorship to the early stage startups. And finally, we have a high-touch program called the Google for Startup Accelerators. We're currently running various flavors of accelerators. We have one working right now. In 2022, we have 2 cohorts of cloud accelerator. We have one accelerator which we are focused on for women, startups run by women co-founders, and then we're also working on a couple of other startup boot camps, interesting boot camps focused on certain verticals. So it's going to be a busy, high-touch program as far as accelerator is concerned for us. So this is some of the stats of accomplishments of what the Google for Startups has done. So it's, like I said, it's been 5 years since the Google for Startups Accelerator has been working in India. Overall, cumulatively, 116 C2C startups supported so far. 12K jobs have been created by portfolio startups. $2 billion funds have been raised. We have 6 startup Google for startup partners, and we have got one unicorn, 9 Sonicons, and 34 minicons, and 13 have been acquired. See, these are some of the logos of popular startups who have been the alumni of the Google for Startup Accelerator program. So moving on, the Android educators, we have around 190 Android educators and 640 institutes have been engaged to this program. So like I said, we want to make sure that through this program, we're able to get people to use Kotlin, which seems to be the most preferred programming language on Android. And also, we want to help them with the modern app architecture, frameworks, and Compose. So these are the new content which we are proliferating through the Android educators and through that to the students. And so here again, we've just about started this, and we have a long way to go. We're looking for working very closely with all the universities, AICTE, in making sure that we're able to get this content out there for students, because that enhances their employability, that enhances them to work in the right way to build really modern, scalable apps. With that, I've come to the conclusion of my presentation of sharing various Google developer programs, which is available in India. And we're looking forward to working with you all. And I wanted to thank AICTU Coding Ninja team and Chandigarh University for the opportunity to share our programs and be participating in this very, very important and relevant program in today's context. With that, over to you, Karan.
Okay, so these it was Karthik and Nikita for you guys, and thank you so much, Karthik and Nikita, for presenting such wonderful talk on Flutter and how students can actually become the part of Google Developer Group. And I was actually like listening all your talks and whatever you are presenting, and and then it shows like like if they can connect with the GDG in the beginning of their college year, so they can actually like getting a lot of support from the GDG communities to to show up to so to do something quality work for their community to in order to strengthen up in order to like upgrade their students, their community, their clubs, and students who are studying in their around in their college and their universities, right? So thank you so much for like sharing such wonderful insights with us today here on this platform of AICT Coding Ninjas Championship. And again, I present like my heartful regards to both of you on the behalf of AICT Council.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
thank you so much, Nikita. Thank you so much, Karthik, for being here with us. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Okay, so this was Karthik and Nikita for us for this IICC Masterclass 3, and now I can see a lot of comments into the section into the comment section that a lot of students wants to know about like what is going to be there into the round 2, and they are very much excited that what they should do to crack the round 2, and I can literally understand your excitement. And excitement होनी भी चाहिए ना, क्यों नहीं होनी चाहिए, like you guys have cracked the round 1, and uh, my personal congratulations to all the students have have actually worked hard and like cracked this championship round 1. So I'm eagerly like looking forward to see you in the grand finale of IICC, like this is going to happen in the Chandigarh University premises. So yes, competitive programming coding questions are going to be there basically, as per like my understanding, as far as I know about the round 2. And so just brush up your competitive programming skills, brush up your your like your DSA basics, and like and just solve some pre-early questions on some competitive programming platforms. And there is a mock test also live on the Coding Ninjas website, so you'll have to explore the code studio section. There you will find a mock test for the round 2 that is especially designed for the round 2 only. So there, by solving that particular mock test, you'll be able to check the get the insights like what is going to be there into the round 2. So yeah, I think that mock test will definitely like help you to prepare for the round 2, the actual questions that are going to come in the main round. And after that, round 3 is going to happen, the main grand finale. And again, I'm saying I'm very excited to to meet all of you there. So yes, so again, congratulations to the students who have cracked round 2. And so Kushbu, what will happen after cracking round 2? So after cracking round 2, If you will crack round two, I wish you the best for the same. So you will be invited to Chandigarh University campus to beat with the best out of the best for the grand finale of IICC Coding Championship. So guys, scholarship test is going to be there on 27 and 28 July from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. This time, Coding Ninja scholarship test is free. It's a one-time opportunity. I'm telling you, as a big brother, as a mentor, I'm telling you, it's a one of a kind of opportunity. Go there. The link is already there into the comment section. Go there, register, give your best, avail the 100% up to 100% scholarship on the Coding Ninja scholarship. Coding is a course, like it's a time of learning, right? And everyone should learn, or upgrade their skills to, to get their dream job, their dream placement, their dream internship. So I can definitely take bet on all of you that you all are eager to learn, you all are eager to explore, you all are eager to showcase your your set of skills into the competitions like ISCC. So first learn, practice, and prove, right? So learn what you need to do. The link is there into the comment section. Go and register for the scholarship test. Ask your friend to register for the scholarship test. It's create a kind of moment, around you, around your people, that everyone will be, like register for the scholarship test and go there and avail the like the chance to get up to 100% scholarship on the coding courses. And then IC is there to, to prove your skills, to showcase your skills and what you have learned, right? So yes, it was session on Flutter, and I'm definitely sure that you must have learned something about Flutter, and that this thing you are gonna like implement in your learning. So yes, we will keep coming with such master classes on like some high training topics with such elite speaker from Google, Microsoft, Amazon. This is what coding is all about. So guys, again, thank you for joining us. Thank you for spending your evening with me, with the Coding Ninja, with the AST council, and with the elite guest from directly from Google. So again, thanking all of you, thanking all the faculties for supporting us, thanking all the staff, all the backend crew members for supporting us for this masterclass. This was Karan Bhargav, your buddy and your host for the masterclass. Thank you. Signing off. Bye.